Hold on. Okay, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. Boom. Blasted. 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 There were ice raids happening as well. Or not ice raids, sorry. There were anti-ice protests happening as well. On the 101 in Los Angeles. We'll talk about that as well. Trump is freezing the tariffs. Breaking news. Let's get into it.
He will pause the 25% tariffs
I'll be back in a
on
second.
Mexican imports. We have reporters in Mexico City and in the North Lawn of the White House.
I'm glad, I'm glad that he's at least putting a pause on it, and it was just him being fucking. He was doing like what is it, the madman theory or whatever. He was behaving Nixonian like. So he's putting a pause on the tariffs. Oh, I'm pausing them. It didn't make any sense. Oh.
Let's go straight to CNN's Valeria Leon in Mexico City for the latest. Valeria, midnight was the deadline here where tariffs were supposed to be implemented. They're not now. Why?
So in a surprising shift, tariffs on Mexican goods are now on pause after President Sheinbaum and President Trump reached an agreement. So rather than presenting today Mexico's response to the Trump administration tariffs, President Sheinbaum confirmed that she had a conversation with President Trump this morning, what she described as a long call of 45 minutes to talk about immigration issues and the interest that both countries have in reducing fentanyl consumption. Both governments reached an agreement to secure the border. Mexico has agreed on deploying National Guards to the Mexico-U.S. border, and the Mexican president said that she asked Trump to cancel tariffs on Mexican products, which Sheinbaum said that Trump agreed to. Mexico's economy minister, Marcelo Ebrard, will be in charge of this negotiation with U.S. government officials. Let's put the tariffs on pause forever. That's what Mexico's president suggested to Trump this morning, but they agreed to pause tariffs for 1 month. Part of the agreement, she explained, has to do with the U.S. government committing to reducing the traffic arms into Mexico.
Valeria Leon, thanks so much. I want to turn to CNN's Kevin Liptak, who joins me now from the North Lawn at the White House. Kevin, there was also a call with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau this morning. We haven't heard of any pause there, but there is supposed to be another one this afternoon. Is this just a bilateral Mexico-U.S. thing, or do we expect another pause also applying to the Canadians?
Yeah, at this point, this only applies to Mexico. And I'll tell you, after that phone call with Justin Trudeau, officials I talked to on the Canadian side were not all that optimistic about a last-minute reprise from these tariffs. But of course, they have scheduled up this follow-up conversation at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And it remains to be seen whether Trump will extend the same 1 month pause on those 25% tariffs on Canada as he did on Mexico. One thing that we've heard from officials this morning is that the negotiations with the Mexicans that occurred throughout the weekend were going much better than the conversations were going with the Canadians. We heard that from Kevin Hassett, one of the top economists here at the White House earlier this morning. Now, I think the big question is whether or not this is a huge surprise. We did hear from Donald Trump just last night that he didn't expect anything dramatic to come out of these telephone calls. But on the other hand, look at those numbers on the screen. The stock market, at one point, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down almost 600 points this morning. Donald Trump is attuned to nothing more than the stock market. And I think there was a sense, at least among some of his outside allies, that he was looking for an off-ramp here. Now, one of the big questions in this tariff battle is what exactly Trump was looking for from Canada and Mexico. That had been a point of extreme frustration among Canadian and Mexican officials. What quantifiable metric did he want to see them take in order to ease off these tariffs? this. You know, just on Friday, a delegation of Canadian officials was here at the White House meeting with Donald Trump's border czar. They were supposed to meet around 4 p.m. Donald Trump at 4 p.m. says he wasn't looking for any concessions. So there was an incredible amount of confusion. Today, this morning, I think we are getting a good idea of what he's looking for, which is troops on the border, 10,000 troops on the border that Mexico says it will send to try and cut down on those fentanyl flows. Phil.
We'll see what Canada offers in their negotiations. Obviously, 10% tariffs also on China. No indication right now of any calls there. Kevin Liptak, Valeria Leon, thanks so much. It is important to note that tariffs, as I noted, on China and Canada have not been paused, at least at this moment. That might explain some of the market reaction. We've seen a pop, but not an entirety of a turnaround. CNN business correspondent Vanessa Yurkevich joins me now. Do we expect a complete rebound here?
I think investors are being cautiously optimistic. This news, obviously, of this pause on tariffs with Mexico has encouraged investors, and you've seen markets recover just a little bit. They were down almost 2%, all of them, earlier this morning, but we've seen a pop. We've seen a recovery. But if you look at specific stocks, specific industries that were expected to be targeted with these tariffs, you see a mix. You see General Motors down over 2%. You see 3M, which is manufacturing, down about 1%, and Constellation Brands. This is a company, an alcohol company that imports and exports from around the world. You see them still down over 2%. So investors still feeling a little bit shaky about whether or not tariffs will also be paused with Canada and Mexico, two of our key trading partners. As it stands right now, tariffs are set to go into effect with Canada, 25%, and about 10% with China. And the goods that are going to be impacted for everyday Americans, you see it right there: grain, livestock, sugar, fertilizer, lumber, oil and gas only going to be targeted at about a 10% tariff coming in from Canada. And then from China, electronics, home appliances, toys, and footwear. Americans, we buy about 50% of our footwear from China, so that's a significant amount. So we are waiting to see what happens. And of course, Phil, retaliatory tariffs happen. We've already heard from Canada that they're expecting to retaliate with 25% tariffs against.
He was just memeing, dude. He was just memeing. Y'all don't understand. It was just meme style. He's just a little guy. He just wanted to. Look. Nazi Germany, post-World War I, feeling slighted by the rest of the Western world, right? The economy's in the pooper. Very different set of circumstances where they can set up an agenda that they've been wronged by everyone else and that they're a powerful and mighty nation. The United States of America, albeit suffering a little bit due to its own selfish nature, is in a very different circumstance as the hegemonic superpower. So when you make the argument that like all of the other international countries are screwing us over, we are the ones that are constantly being screwed over by everybody else, and that's why we must take action against this sort of thing, you're in an entirely different predicament, because the entirety of the global trade is designed in a way that benefits you. Okay? The entirety of global trade benefits the United States of America. It's like complaining about NATO, which Donald Trump does all the time as well. It makes no sense. Why would you complain about NATO when NATO is there for you? It's stupid. That's my point. Here's the Canada call that just came in as well. Just had a good call with President Trump. Canada's implementing our $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. In addition, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list all cartels as terrorists, ensure 24/7 eyes on the border, launch a Canada-U.S. joint strike force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. I've also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl, and we'll be backing it with $200 million. Proposed tariffs will be paused for at least 30 days while we work together. The most giga chat thing is Claudia made Trump admit the cartels are only armed because of the American weapons trade. Latinas stay winning. Yeah, Claudia is great. Hasan, famously, when you import something, you're being ripped off. So when you import Indian-made iPhones, the U.S., is being ripped off. I think it's also very funny that they're forcing Canada's hand into like spending money on the most nonsensical bullshit. Like, what is it? It was like 43 kilograms of fentanyl total that was apprehended. And before people say, oh, dude, that's a lot of like lethal doses or whatever. No, it's not. Okay. It's nothing in comparison to the metric ton of drugs that are being trafficked over the fucking border in general. Okay. Let alone border apprehensions are not, you know, they're probably not a long-term solution. I just don't understand. Oh, it's 43 pounds. Not even 43 kilograms. That's so crazy. That's crazy. To be fair, fentanyl is measured in micrograms, so 43 kilograms is a lot. No, it's 19 kilograms. Is this a L or a W for Trump? It's a secret third thing. It's not an L and it's not a W. It's just like a secret third thing, okay? That's what it is for Donald Trump. It's not a W because he didn't do shit. He did the classic, like, create a problem and then simultaneously fix the problem. No problem existed in the beginning. He phrased troops on the border differently than Mexico and are and will be working on protecting the border. Also, with the $1.3 billion on border measures was already decided before. Yeah.
Goods that are coming out of the U.S. and into Canada. We'll see. There's another call, as you mentioned, scheduled with Trudeau later this afternoon. Will there be a turnaround like there was with Mexico, Phil? We'll have to wait and see.
All right, Vanessa Yukevich, thanks so much. Joining me now for more on this, former Michigan Congressman and Governor James Blanchard also served as the U.S. ambassador to Canada. Sir, the biggest question right now is this the start of a complete turnaround, or is Donald Trump planning to split this on some level, and Canada is still going to have to face the tariffs? Do you have any insight right now?
No, I think there are people hoping there'll be some sort of deal soon and work things out. It's harder with Canada because the basis for attacking them it's ridiculous. Trump is accusing them of being a national security threat. That's absurd. We share all intelligence. We've been allies with Canada since World War I. There's minuscule amounts of fentanyl coming in from Canada, and there are more migrants going north to Canada than south from Canada to the U.S. So the basis of all this is absurd. Hopefully it'll get worked out. But if we don't, the prices in Michigan and elsewhere, cost of living on food, cars, automobiles, will go up. It's inflationary. And look, everybody who knows anything about Canada and trade knows what I'm saying is true. Beyond that, though, if we get a deal or a reprieve or something, the long-term damage to our relations with Canada has really, really been severe. This is not the feelings of Canadians, our best friend, our best partner, our best allies, have been really devastated. They're not only hurt, they're at this point angry. It's going to take a lot of time, many months, maybe years, to repair the damage.
Stupid question from a German chatter, me. How serious is fentanyl in the U.S.? Is it actually a scourge on the people? And or is the means proposed to solve it inadequate? The answer to is both. Yes. The answer to both is yes. Yes. It is a massive, massive problem. Okay. Opioid overdoses are huge in our country. It is a genuinely devastating force upon the population. And maybe unsurprisingly, the second part of the question, the answer is still yes. Our solutions are inadequate. In the past couple of decades, since fentanyl became like an issue of ginormous importance, the only time fentanyl overdoses opiate overdoses have actually lowered year over year was under the Biden administration, which is ironic because they did it with harm reduction measures. The Republicans constantly complained about it. And also the Biden administration never actually hailed that as a heroic effort. You might have known about the Biden administration harm reduction efforts and their success because you watch me. I've talked about it. The media rarely covered it. The Biden administration did not even choose to do any sort of promotion of that, of these programs, or rather, they did do promotions of these programs, but they never really promoted how successful that was. And it is truly, truly shocking. The people that are most responsible for this, they have names, they have addresses. We know who they are. That's the other side of the story as well. It's the Sacklers, right? Purdue Pharmaceutical is owned by an incredibly wealthy family, and a family of incredibly wealthy people who personally were invested in the trafficking of opiates and the marketing of opiates. They set up think tanks, harm reduction facilities, pain management facilities, and greatly overprescribed OxyContin, told doctors to do so. This is the reason why Americans got addicted to heroin. Were they punished? No. Jewish family. I love this notion that it's like, it's only it's the Sacklers. Sacklers are a Jewish family. That's what's most important here. You know, their religious background. Nan Golden got the Sackler name taken off of several museums through protests over their oxy dealings. Okay, but they should be in prison. All right, let's continue.
Damage to our partnership with our trusted ally, Canada, and everyone in Canada watching this knows what I say is true. This is tragic for no reason, no excuse here for us to do this to Canada. And with Mexico, again, you don't want to treat your partners and your neighbors this way. And by the way, it's disgusting to watch Trump constantly threaten Canada and Mexico.
Damn, this guy loves Canada, bro. Why don't you marry it? Okay, calm down. It's disgusting what we've done to our best friend Canada. I mean, it is a ridiculous thing that Donald Trump has done. Make no mistake. To put it in a way foreign chatters can understand, my brother used to go to the walk-in clinic and pretend that he had a sore throat, then walk out with a liquid codeine prescription. It was scary. It was scary, easy to get your hands on it. Yeah. I mean, he did it again, man. The mad lad did it. The more I think about it, the funnier it gets. But like Donald Trump used to do this all the time. I guess we forgot, where he would just be like, where he'd be like, I'm gonna shake things up a little bit. And then he would, you know, break something for no reason and then quote unquote seemingly fix it by just reversing the previous decision to break something that didn't have to be that makes no sense to break. You know what I mean? And the tariff thing just simply did not make sense. Like when I say no reason, seriously, yes, no reason. Like, dude, come on. Come on, dude. You think there was a logical reason? Oh, God, it's so freaking annoying. The lighting changes are pissing me off. You think there was a valid reason to apply tariffs to 55% of our trade partners? Like our partners that comprise 55% of all trade? Like what's the severe problem? Tariffs have to be hyper specific. They have to be hyper targeted. They have to be done. They have to be applied in a way that benefits domestic manufacturing in a key sector. Okay? You can't just be like, "Oh, I'm doing like complete trade tariffs, like all tariffs." It doesn't make sense. If you do that for anything but an economic reason, it has to be ginormous. You mean like Canada did? Yeah, no, that's a great example. Canada's counter tariffs are perfectly reasonable because it was a counter tariff. It is a retaliatory tariff. Yes, that is an appropriate way to do tariffs because you're hitting the nuclear option because your psychotic neighbor decided to go after you for no reason whatsoever. So yeah, that is logical. Because notice how that's a defensive posture there. It's basically to say, hey, we'll make your economy scream as well. We'll make sure that your key businesses are undermined. We'll lower trade from you, and we'll go trade with Canada instead. That's it. That makes a lot more sense than being the United States of America who kickstarts the tariffs to begin with. Also, it seemingly worked, you know, considering that Donald Trump backed down and put a pause on the tariffs anyway. So what are you talking about?
In Canada's case, constantly threaten Canada and belittle them as he's moving on.
Like I love that the impact of the retaliatory tariffs was successful. So successful that it caused Trump to back down. And there are still chatters in here being like, you mean like what Canada did? Your Nixonian madman theory might be right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. He's basically saying like, I'm fucking insane. Okay, don't mess with me, I guess.
That he could agree to change your mind on the tariff?
Well, we can always, but look, what I'd like to.
It seems like this must be a negotiation tactic. This sounds so insane, but friends in the Canadian government have told me that he hasn't privately conveyed any other actual demands. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. There's no real reason for it. Okay? Like, there's no real, it just doesn't make sense. It literally does not make sense. Is he absolutely lost his mind? I don't know. He's just trying some shit out. Seeing what sticks, I guess. I don't know. Because this is the other side of the story, is that like when asked why he's doing this, because people kept saying, like, why are you doing this? And he just kept saying tariff is the best word in the English language. Like, what? Tariffs, my favorite word. Best word in the English language. No better word than tariffs. And then they'd be like, why are you doing this to Canada? And he'd be like, well, drugs. Canada's letting fentanyl come over the border. Snow Mexico. We have Mexico on the southern border, snow Mexicans on the north. We must stop them. Like, he just needed something to run on as an answer to his base. They could easily implement a rollback with no one else's input.
To see Canada become our 51st state. We give them protection, military protection. We don't need them to build our cars. I'd rather see Detroit or South Carolina.
Another part of this story that I'm a little bit alarmed by is the Republican reaction to it. The Republicans have been just like begging to invade Canada. You know, in this process, like we all went from like, haha, that's not going to happen, to like Republicans be like, no, we actually want to kill Canadians. Like, can we please annex Canada? And it happened relatively quickly. It happened overnight. And it is a bit alarming. It is a bit alarming. Despite its proximity, Canada has still been able to maintain some semblance of social safety nets. They have a litany of their own personal issues, but I will admit that I think they're better off without us, and that they should not be destroyed by our sweet, sweet freedom of private enterprise. I really, really, really think that it would be devastating, and it would be cruel and unusual for Canada to become a part of America, no matter how much dumbass Albertans wish that upon their own people. Okay? Canada, get behind me. I'll protect you. Okay? Canadians, get behind me. Stand back, stand by. I will do everything in my power to ensure that you are not destroyed by the United States of America. Okay? Look at this dipshit. After we destroy the Canadian economy, their will to resist will erode. We will then march in unopposed and deliver Canada to its rightful place as a territory of the U.S. with no political representation. Honestly, you seem disinterested about annexing Canada? Yes. American Anschluss. That's funny. Yeah, shit's popping off with U.S. aid. The best part of the concessions that both Mexico and Canada gave today are that both of them are pre-promised stuff they already talked about last year and sold them to Trump as a win for him. Lamau, they gave him basically nothing and it's funny as shit. Yeah, but it also still doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense as to why it happened to begin with. It did not need to happen. Also, Central Committee, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream, brother. Thanks for defending us, but does that mean that you specifically will stop your cruel Canadian slander? No, I will never stop my cruel Canadian slander. This is like when I talk shit about every state and the people in it. And then when push comes to shove, and I obviously will always defend every single person in every single state, no matter what, you know? I'm not going to stop making fun of Canada. I don't know what's going on with the ending of U.S. aid. Like, I genuinely don't understand it. Is MAGA communism real? Is it actually JD Pondon? These are questions that I have in my mind. And I don't know that is like one aspect of the story that is hard to also decipher. I guess most aspects of the story are hard to decipher, but this is yet another aspect of the story that's hard to decipher. Not dissimilar to the Luka trade. Okay.
Or any one of our Tennessee, any one of our states build the cars. They could do it very easily. We don't need them for the cars. We don't need them for lumber. We don't need them for anything. We don't need them for energy. We have more energy than they do. We don't need them for energy. So I say, why are we doing this? Why are we willing to lose between $100 billion and $200 billion a year? We don't need them. As a state, it's different. As a state, it's much different. And there are no tariffs. So I'd love to see that, but some people say that would be a long shot. If people wanted to play the game right, it would be 100% certain that they'd become a state. But a lot of people don't like to play the game because they don't have a threshold of pain. And there would be some pain, but not a lot. The pain would be really there. So we're going to meet again.
Don't jump. Some dudes are typing in own a pixel chat that you want to debate with him. Lamau, who's own a pixel? Trump announced he's cutting off aid to UNRWA. Least surprising turn of events. Also, the Biden admin, still following the Biden admin attitude here. What is this? When most people hear tariff, they think about how it sounds like sheriff and taffy combined. Delicious, yet deadly. You're right. That is an interesting take that I hadn't thought of. He's the best German of all time? Hell yeah. What are we going to debate on? CS Gamba addict? I think if America forcibly annexed Canada and tried to turn it into a state, you'd see some. The Quebecois would teach you the meaning of real terrorism. Okay. Like the Quebecers already are angry at being a part of Canada in general. I can't think of anything worse. Like, dude, imagine you're a Quebecer and now you have to be a part of America. Oh my Lord. They would make the IRA look like a tickle party, I think. And of course, as is the case with most emancipatory movements, I probably would find myself aligning with them in spite of my disagreements on many of their internal affairs. And then maybe people would write articles about how much of a radical terrorism lover I am because I'm not simply on board with forcibly annexing Quebec. You know. UK won't get tariffs as we don't produce shit. Most goated US vassal state. Now what? Israel? Oh. Trump says ceasefire might not hold. Oh, man. Update on Trump's meeting with Netanyahu. I mean, what holds nowadays anyway? Jesus Christ. Netanyahu is visiting Washington to convince Trump to carve an exception for Israel out of his wider America First agenda. U.S. foreign aid will revolve around facilitating Israel's ethnic cleansing and regional domination goals and maintaining alliances that serve Israeli interests. Israeli outlet Ynet reports that during Netanyahu's visit this week, the Israelis plan to show Trump shortened version of the film they made of the October 7 attacks. Recall that Joe Biden repeatedly made false claims about seeing videos and images of beheadings of children and other specific atrocities that did not happen or being shown footage by Israel. Okay, interesting opportunity here. This backfires. Trump gets really mad that they showed him all of this gory footage. He doesn't care. You think he cares? He sat in front of the Israeli hostage families and described the gruesome ways in which some of their family members were murdered. Okay. This man does not care about anything. Okay. If you show him even a shortened version, an abbreviated version of the atrocities that took place on October 7, he's going to sit there and he's going to get pissed off, not about the atrocities themselves, but at the people forcing him to watch this. Okay. Yeah. He's going to be like, they made me watch this video. I hated it. I hated every moment of it. Such terrible events. That's right. We are now officially ending the state of Israel for the crime of making me watch this video. Nasty video. Also, this is crazy. I feel like he's such a monster. He wouldn't be bothered by it. No, he'd be annoyed. That's what I'm saying. Joe Biden will watch it and go, Joe Biden will watch it and obviously do an entire unlimited genocide. Donald Trump already is down to do an unlimited genocide anyway. I don't know why you're making him watch this. Pretty sure Netanyahu's convinced him to go after South Africa. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a certainty. Netanyahu is the reason why he also issued sanctions on Bensouda, the last prosecutor at the ICC. The last prosecutor that at the ICC that he applied sanctions to.
That you're going to cut aid from South Africa. Will you plan to cut aid across other African nations, and why South Africa?
No, it's only South Africa. Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating.
Trump refuses to watch a video like you refuse to watch Ethan's Lamont. Yeah, the difference is Donald Trump didn't do October 7, whereas Ethan's video is about me. I don't have to watch a video that I'm in prominently. The video's about me, calling me a terrorist for shit that I have said that is clipped out of context. Like, you know what? Let me explain something to you guys. I wanted to mention this. Look at this. Okay? On my YouTube, there's a video called Hasan versus Ethan Explained. Okay? It's sitting at 500,000 views. It's from October 25th, 2024. I want you to watch that video and see how many of the claims that are in Ethan's new context nuke that are directly in this video and have been addressed. Now, this video has been out for 3 months. It's been out for 3 months, 3 whole months. Maybe Ethan's content nuke was already addressed before it ever came out. Could have saved himself that trouble of sitting in the editing room for months and months. But that's not the point. The point is he wants to turn it into content. It's gross. Like he wants to turn my reaction into content, and I suspect that he will continue doing that, and constantly present it as like how much he has owned me and how frazzled I am over and over again, and you know, that's it. Yeah, he wants a feedback loop of call and response. Exactly. He can't actually have he can't actually talk to me in person about any number of different issues because he knows that he is ill-equipped. So he will consistently hide behind Instagram stories and his YouTube live feed that he heavily monitors the chat in, that he's basically culled any sort of dissent in his own community in, and carefully crafted an audience that is receptive to this sort of thing, mostly because of Epstein's fanboys that are brigading that he wants in his community, slowly but surely reshaping his community into a very toxic one. You know? Yeah, wait, now you're claiming to be the world's foremost expert on Hasan Piker. Anything you need to study up, pal? Yeah. The comments on the live show were hard. The comments on the live show were coming for him hard. Members weren't happy. I know, but it doesn't matter. He just keeps banning those comments. He just keeps banning his own members and just moving on and thinking like, no, I'm on a righteous quest. The difference is I'm not fucking what do you call it, Ryan Kavanaugh or whatever his name is. You know what I mean? Like I'm not some random social media billionaire who's done a bunch of shit. This isn't over like me genuinely wronging someone. This is entirely personal. You feel slighted. Careful, you are showing your power level. I know. You feel slighted. You feel upset that your own fan base obviously got mad at you for your lackluster defense of Palestine. And instead of addressing it and going back to the drawing board, trying to understand why people were getting mad at you this way, because of your output, because of the words you were using, you decided to consistently level up and just cry more and more. And literally the entire point revolves around like, no, you guys don't understand. I'm the true defender of Palestine, guys. Me, I'm the true defender, not Hasan. He's actually a terrorist. And then a bunch of other disinterested people who, after 16 months, are still running around being like, no, he's not a good defender of the Palestinian plight. I am. It's additionally wild because he's, you know, would you say that the Ethan Klein versus Hasan Piker video was Meet the Grams? I don't know. I don't care about making a comparison here between Kendrick Lamar and Drake, to be honest. You know, it's silly. Yeah. NFKRZ even defended you, saying that he's just using typical Israeli talking points to call people who are against Israel. Dude, yes. It's planes falling out of the sky. Donald Trump ushering in the Fourth Reich, burger style. Okay. Israel has all but completed its genocide in North Gaza, or at least tried to complete it. Ceasefires on shaky grounds. You know, virtually every building in Gaza destroyed. And one of the most outspoken, most attacked defenders of Palestinians being called a fucking terrorist over and over again. I feel like if you consider yourself to be a progressive person, your priorities are entirely out of whack. You can try to say, no, I just simply want like a better liberal advocacy for Palestinians all day, every day. But most people understand what the fuck's going on. That's it. This is precisely the reason why it's like that's literally not true. The video showed receipts and is obviously wants to defend his name since your fan base drags him. His whole point is he defends Gaza, but he thinks Jewish people don't deserve to die. Maybe watch the whole video instead of clips. Maybe Ethan should actually, remember the conversations that we had in person for 2 hours instead of literally clip chimping those very same conversations a year after the fact to put it in his video where he calls me a fucking terrorist over and over again, a terrorist sympathizer over and over again, like he's goddamn Steven Crowder. But because it's about Israel, people don't have the comprehension skills to understand what he's doing. Just debate then because this is sad. Shut the fuck up. I already said I wanted to. He's the one who's like, you have to watch my video first, which is ridiculous. I'm the subject matter of the video. If he wants to have a conversation with me, we had a podcast, Yeah. Yeah, you don't understand. He just doesn't want Jewish people to die. Yeah, I don't either, dumbass. The fuck are you talking about? Like, what is this argument? Yeah, you think I want Jewish people to die? What are you, stupid? Are you insane? Oh, I didn't realize he had such a reasonable position. His receipts are 17-second clips over and over again. All right. Anyway, are you gonna let today be derailed by drama slop? Because you say I never talk about drama and shout down anyone who asks you to move on, then talk about it for another 2 hours. The 90% of us is white noise. This is true. You are correct. Yeah. Yeah. The guy who in the month of October, when talking, or in the month of November, when talking to me, called Jewish Voice for Peace capos, is the true pro-Palestinian voice, and he's just simply trying to make sure that everyone is pro-Palestine the right way. Come on, guys. He gave my fundraiser money. He can't be that bad. He gave my fundraiser that this community did, where we raised millions of dollars. Okay, he gave that fundraiser money. He can't. He's come on. Yeah, he paid the fee. He paid the fee so that he could spend the next year fucking shitting on virtually everyone. Virtually everyone that was involved with that fundraiser by calling them terrorists, and also even successfully getting them banned by demanding they get banned over hummus, dude. Like, I was so charitable for an entire year, but, there's a point where it's like, come on. Let's get real. You're giving him and his goons exactly what they want right now. I know. Yeah, I know. All right, let's get back to the fucking tariffs. Everybody understands what's what here.
With his policies. It is really insulting, and it is a terrible representative of the leader of the United States of America. No American president has ever acted like this toward Canada, or
Can I ask
frankly,
you,
almost anybody else.
To the point.
You broke up.
To the point you're making right now, when you talk to your diplomatic contacts in Canada, what is their view? I understand the anger. I understand the frustration. What are they telling you about what the end game is, kind of the bilateral relationship, what it means going forward?
I mean, look, they need to work something out. Every trade deal, every trade agreement has off-ramps. The U.S., Canada, Mexico trade agreement was scheduled to be reviewed next year. So there's probably a fig leaf that Canada can give Trump if they want to, that Trump will accept and proclaim victory, like invading Normandy or something. Look, we're dealing with an abnormal guy in the White House. We all know that. The problem Canadians have is they don't understand why the United States Senate is standing up to him. They really wonder about that. Sure, there could be a short-term solution, a few more border guards, something like that, which Canada can easily do and would do. I mean, look, we share the patrol of the Great Lakes. We have Americans, Coast Guard, and Canadian in the same boats, all right? And I'm sensitive to that, being from Michigan. So cooperation has been the hallmark, not conflict. They can work something out, but I'm telling you, this has gone too far. And I think most people, as I said, who are friends of Canada and the United States agree with me. Canada does not deserve this. They deserve their respect and friendship, and we're going to repair the damage.
I think that we have.
Okay. New polling on the Trump tariffs. Paraphrasing Howard Stern's mother, something horrible has happened. That's how most Americans feel about Trump tariffs. They don't like them. Wait, what? Why? Dude, why are...
Look at this.
Dude, every time I see Harry Enton on television doing focus testing or showcasing polls, and virtually everyone says like, oh, dude, what the fuck are tariffs? Everybody started Googling tariffs. I am reminded of the thing that I tell you all the time, okay? Americans are very stupid. Americans are very stupid. Americans don't understand the impact of government action until that government action is staring down, that government action is about to impact their lives, or that government action has impacted their lives, okay? This is precisely the reason why I laugh whenever people go, well, you don't understand, like 56% of Americans want to kill every Mexican. It's like, yeah, okay, dude, sure, all right? Wait till it fucking starts happening, and then you'll go, oh, everyone is Googling why the American government is killing Mexicans. It's the same shit. And this is not just America. It happened with Brexit. This is just the global population, okay? Specifically, or especially in the Western world. But this is just how it is. How many times does this have to happen for you guys to go, okay, maybe polling on issues like this are not necessarily the most, not necessarily the most comprehensive way of approaching the subject matter. Not necessarily the best way of seeing how the people are going to react to something once it happens. Look at the TikTok ban. Okay? Look at the fucking TikTok ban. Americans wanted the TikTok ban at the time when the legislation was happening. It's like, no, they didn't. Okay? They did not. They did not. Look at the fucking numbers. You got 170 million people using this goddamn application. What? Why would they want their treats taken away? Until something happens, most Americans are not going to reckon with the reality of it, okay? That's it. That's it. Also, it doesn't really matter because the American government does not actually operate on the basis of popular democracy anyway. It's not like the American government goes, oh, wow, this particular thing is very popular. Let's do it. They do the exact opposite more consistently. You would have an easier time understanding what the American government is going to do if you were to look at something with like broad popularity and then expect the government to do the exact opposite of that thing that is broadly popular. And that is how it works. Oh my God. Always and forever and consistently. It sucks. But here it is. Most Americans are now Googling what tariffs are. Okay? Most Americans are now Googling what tariffs are. They are terrified of Trump's tariffs. It's like, yeah, no shit. How many fucking on the street interviews do we see of people just being like, nah, you don't understand, brother. Tariffs are going to be great. Egg prices are going to go down with the tariffs. It's like, what? How? Your expectation is the opposite of what is supposed to happen. If broad tariffs are implemented on 55%, 60% of our trade partners, all trade, it's the exact opposite. Is there a particular reason? Do you want to move all trade to India? Is that what it is? Or Vietnam or something? Like, have you set this up already ahead of time? Do you have a competent, competitive domestic industry that will keep up with the additional demand? Do you have a way of ensuring price stability so that the competent domestic manufacturing increases production in a way to keep up with the demand without increasing the prices on the consumer side? No. If the answer is no to all of these things, then what the fuck are you doing? Like, oh, well, Trump said it's going to be good. So I think it's going to be good. Oh, no. What has happened? Where my egg gone? Why is everything so expensive? Why is everything getting more and more expensive? I don't understand it. And then in the process, some people are going to turn around and say, it's actually patriotic to pay more for the price of eggs, brother. You fucking piece of shit. You goddamn libtard. You don't understand. America #1. Okay. And then the other people are going to look at the situation and go, it's because of black people working in the factories. That's why. DEI. DEI in my poultry facility is what caused the bird flu, avian flu, they're calling it, which is also simultaneously woke and gay and made up, but also a devastating virus caused by the Chinese. None of it makes sense. All of it is politics of resentment and spite. None of it makes sense. There is no logic behind it. There's no critical thinking, barely any literacy in this goddamn country. I don't know what the fuck to say.
I feel like Howard Stern's mother, something horrible has happened here. That's what's going on here, getting on my biggest New York Jewish accent I could. Trump's tariffs on Canada, China, Mexico. Look at this. Just 38% support. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to figure out that 51% oppose is larger than the 38% support. Look, Trump has done some fairly popular things in his first few weeks in office. This is not one of them. No, no, no. Horrible, 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 to quote Charles Barkley. The American folks are opposed to these tariffs when you ask it specifically like this about the three countries, or if you ask it more vaguely about tariffs overall, they simply put, do not like it, Mr.
It's interesting. Even with China in the question,
Correct.
People say that they are opposed to tariffs. The majority here, and there's not a majority on a lot of things these days. How about how Americans say they want to see Donald Trump focused in this first 100 days and whether tariffs should be a focus?
You know, the two big focuses for Trump in the polling are immigration and the economy. Tariffs ain't it, my dear friend. Tariffs ain't it. Trump should focus on tariffs. In November of 2024, when Ipsos asked it was 1%. Look at what happened in December of 2024. It doubled. It doubled, but to only 2%. When you double to only 2%, you know that the American people don't want Trump's focus to be here. They don't like it. They don't want his focus to be there. They want it to be on other issues.
Are they paying attention? Do they notice that this is happening?
Yeah, so the big question is, you know, Trump has done a lot of things that are unpopular in the past, but the poll numbers haven't moved. That may be the case here, but I'm a little skeptical of that. Why?
Bro, I got family with accounting degrees that still believe what Trump says about tariffs. I don't understand. Is macro econ not like a part of the conversation? What is happening? Like, is there no, like, in order to become a CPA, you definitely have to have a basic understanding of this sort of stuff. Dude, why? What is accounting is microeconomics? What are you talking about? You still need to take macro. What are you saying? Macroecon in college is fake and lib coded. It's literally I took principles of macroeconomics in college. Guys, what is insane about this process is I shouldn't be defending it. Okay? They should be defending it. Okay? They should be saying the words that are coming out of my mouth. If you're an accountant, you should be like, what the fuck? This is so dumb. I took a basic macro course in college before I got my accounting license. Okay? So I'm somewhat familiar with what is going on. That's what they should be. That's the conversation that should be taking place. Why am I defending it? It doesn't make sense. What is this? We got Egg Watch. Okay, you did a horrible job linking this, chatter. 22 Egg Watch currently, oh my God. 812. Are there even eggs in any of the grocery stores right now in America? Because I've been eating a shit ton of eggs out here, whether it be a tamago sando or whether it be when I go to a sukiyaki place and I dip my wagyu in it, you know, I dip my wagyu in the broth and then I pull it out of the broth and then I dip it in the fucking egg and then I eat it. That's what I did last night. Actually, it was incredible. And, you know, it's amazing. It's going to be really horrible when I come back to the United States and realize that eggs don't even exist on the fucking shelves anymore because of the goddamn avian flu. And it's good that, you know, we've destroyed the FDA, the CDC, and the NIH. So that's cool. I guess when you kill the institutions that are supposed to inform the public about these sorts of things, then no one really knows what's going on and they just simply don't have eggs on the shelves. And then people go, oh, these eggs must be flying off the shelves because it's so cheap, I think. And I can never seem to find some eggs. Because Donald Trump brought forth the most bountiful with his incredible leadership. Donald Trump once again brought such bounties upon the American public. We have been visited by good fortune. The real golden age of eggs is upon us. Trump's great leap backwards. That's for half a dozen. You may notice a price increase on eggs at this time due to the recent avian influenza outbreak in the Midwest. That's crazy, but also, have you thought maybe it's actually libtards that only eat eggs? Fool, we lost an egg truck in East Los Angeles this morning. Yeah. Traffic alert. Egg truck crash causing major delays on 5 freeway through East Los Angeles. Good stuff. At least they're sharing the real reason. Imagine we'll be getting public health alerts on fucking grocery shelves now. Oh, yeah. For context, in Canada, I can get a carton of eggs for $4 CAD, $277 USD. Okay, dude, what do you want me to do about it? I'm over here talking about how we shouldn't annex Canada, and you're making it seem like we should. Okay? Stop giving the game away. You're about to get slapped with a fucking tariff. Dude, the flex is crazy, by the way. Expensive eggs delivered to my home in the UK, $3.15 for a dozen. USA absolutely tanking. The new Undersecretary for Public Diplomacy, state's top public diplomacy official, not only denies the Uyghur genocide, but appears to applaud it, says the U.S. should sell out Taiwan to China for concessions to Antarctica. What? What? The Chinese aren't genocidal. They just object to Uyghur supremacy and Uyghurness. If Uyghurs simply reject Uyghur supremacy, they'll have no problem functioning in Chinese society. Okay. Wait, what? Is this a joke? No fucking shot. There is no way. What? What?